Now, we all know that the mainstream media carries the water for the Democrat Party, but some of the stuff they're saying these days is on another level. Check out this gem from CBS's Margaret Brennan when she was interviewing Secretary of State Marco Rubio about J.D. Vance's pro-freedom of speech he gave in Germany.
Well, he was standing in a country where free speech was weaponized to conduct a genocide.
Imagine having such a warped understanding of history that you believe it was the people's freedom of speech that enabled Hitler to do what he did. How in the world is she a person who's supposed to be asking the most powerful people in the world serious questions? I don't know. Does she really believe that it was freedom of speech that led to the rise of Nazi Germany? Is that being taught somewhere? It might be. It would explain why a lot of leftist Americans believe in censorship. We can't have the free exchange of ideas because it could lead to another Holocaust. I'm sure they believe that it was Elon Musk's purchase and pro-free speech stance on Twitter/X that got Trump elected, and they tell us he's the next Hitler. Now, if Brennan believes that free speech is that dangerous, I would have to guess that many on the left believe the same thing. Although, I do believe the people pulling the strings on the left don't actually believe free speech is dangerous in the sense of what Brennan was talking about. They believe it is dangerous to their agenda. Vice President Vance's speech was in Munich, and 60 Minutes recently did a story on how censorship works in Germany. They do early morning raids on people who have posted something criminal on the internet. These offenders can get fines of thousands of dollars or even jail time. So what kind of things do you think are illegal to post on the internet in Germany? Listen to this.
So it sounds like you're saying it's okay to criticize a politician's policy, but not to say, I think you're a jerk and an idiot.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Comments like "you're son of a bitch," excuse me for using, but these words has nothing to do with political discussions or a contribution to a discussion.
I'm sorry, but I was expecting something a lot worse than calling someone an SOB. That's unbelievable. You can go to jail in Germany for a common insult. But what if the person actually is an SOB? Is it okay then? Now here's the irony. It's that type of arrogance that led to the rise of the Nazi regime. These German politicians and thought leaders believe they're better than everyone else, and that society will be better off if they have control over everyone's lives. It's not like these people don't call others names in their private life, things a lot worse than SOB or idiot or jerk. You see, controlling what people can say helps them control what people can do. If you can't name call online, what are you going to be able to do in person? Now, of course, there will be double standards galore. An example here in America is how the Democrats did not go after the BLM rioters. They actually defended them by calling the riots mostly peaceful protests. Compare that to J6. Some of the people who walked in the Capitol building after the rioting had stopped got arrested. Or what about the nonviolent elderly people arrested outside of an abortion clinic? Or investigations into conservatives speaking out at school board meetings over the transgender ideology being taught? You see, without freedom of speech, the people in power can decide what is acceptable. If they could, the American left would ban conservative speech by declaring that it's hate speech, or racist, or homophobic, or xenophobic, or misogynistic, or politician-phobic. Now, the last one I made up, but it's what they're already practicing in Germany by their own description. If you call a politician an SOB, you could go to jail. The part they won't admit to, though, is that it matters which politician you call an SOB, and it matters who's calling them an SOB. And that's what makes freedom of speech so important. It doesn't matter who's in power in the government, we're allowed to speak our mind. Like Rubio said in this interview, you don't have to agree with what the vice president said, but you don't have to be offended either. You can just disagree and move on, but they can't move on. Joe Biden's handlers were doing their very best to go around the First Amendment and censor our speech, and the leftists in Europe love that. They were on the same page with the previous far-left administration. But those days are gone. The American political left will stop at nothing in their quest for power. In this case, they'll rewrite history to relegate one of the pillars of our constitutional republic, freedom of speech, to being a dangerous tool authoritarian regimes use for genocide. This is so absurd that Brennan should be laughed out of the room and fired immediately. But she won't be, because whatever attack they can use to go after the Trump administration is acceptable, no matter how ludicrous or free from facts they may be. And that's the simple truth.
Hey guys, thanks for watching. And if you all want to support this channel, check out the links in the description, and let's keep putting some common sense back into the great debate.